Agileblast.
Hello, judges. We're Team Agileblast, Team 55727. 6 of us are rookies, and 4 of us have 1 year of experience. This is our robot, the GOAT. It has a box-shaped figure, making it easy to snap on attachments and snap off attachments.
This is our attachment for Raise the Mast and Shark. It gives us a total of 50 points and it's a passive attachment.
This is our attachment that does coral nursery and coral reef. This part is active while this part is passive, and this gets us around 60 points.
This is our attachment for changing shipping lanes. It is an active attachment and it gets us 20 points. This is our attachment for unexpected encounter. This gets us 30 points. This is a passive attachment and this collects the unknown creature and it's a drop-off attachment.
This attachment completes artificial habitat. It hooks onto the cage, brings it up, hooks off. This is an active attachment and it gets us 30 points.
This is our attachment, the curtain. This helps us collect the coral reefs around the table. This scores us about 55 points, and this is a passive attachment.
This is the gearbox, an active base attachment which utilizes motor E, and scores us about 88 points for missions, changing shipping lanes, sonar, and submersible.
This attachment does send over the submersible and sonar discovery. It is attached to this attachment, which is an active attachment, and scores us around 60 points.
Okay, so this attachment brings the research vessel to its final destination, and it's passive. It scores about 20 points.
Throughout making our attachments, we had to go through many iterations to make our attachments better and much more efficient. One big example of this is the curtain. Before we added our iterations, the curtains were much smaller. They had no bar and no hook, meaning samples could easily spill out and the waterbed sample could not be captured. So after adding our iterations, we made sure that the samples would go in the curtains and stay inside, and the waterbed sample would hook on.
Our mission strategy was to pair a rookie team member with an experienced team member. They worked together and learned from each other. They coded the missions of their skill level that they wanted to code, and after everyone was done coding their missions, we had to narrow the field. And we used 4 factors to help us narrow down our missions: time, usability, probability, and distance. We used all these 4 factors and we narrowed our missions down to 11 missions, scoring us 380 points.
The resources we used are spike time videos and help from senior FLL team members. In our code, we use gyro sensor, and for the language for our code are word blocks. As you can see here, we added comments to our code to make it easier to understand.
Before we even started coding, we really planned out what we wanted to do using pseudo coding, which is planning your movement before you start coding. This helped us to divide the map into 4 zones. This helped us to lead us to the most reliable way to do our missions.
As for feedback from the last tournament, we've improved our attachments to do multiple missions, and our score to 300 to 380, and our missions from 8 to 11.
Thank you, judges. Any questions?
Yes, we do have some questions. Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. So am I to believe you're running as many number of missions, so it's always out that with those different attachments?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what have you learned with doing all those missions? Did you come up with the attachments to make the missions, or is everyone qualified for a mission and that's your attachment?
So we've mixed around some of these attachments. So I am holding this one. I did not make this one, but yes, everyone in this room has coded a mission, and they've all worked on the project equally, because we think that teamwork is the best option, and one person should not do all the work.
So 380 points, is that what you can achieve, have achieved, want to achieve?
Can achieve.
Can achieve. Okay. What have you been running on the board?
So far, our average score was around 330, 300 at home, but so far, yeah, that's.
So how you guys improved after you guys tested that particular thing? What made you to improve and how did you do that?
Well, as per our previous feedback, we made many new attachments that do several missions to save on time and made them so they were not so fragile. We also met with a new team called the Winning Wizards, and we validated and we talked to 2 more experts.
What's the most awesome thing about your robot? And why is the most awesome thing about your robot?
I think the most awesome thing about our robot is how it's a square shape, because now it's easy to line our robot up on the wall or on the bold lines. So it makes it really easy to complete our missions. And it's also super easy now to snap on the attachment and snap off.
So you go on the state. What are you going to do differently with your robot? Is it going to be better coding, more attachments?
I think for that we'll make our attachment to do even more missions than it is doing right now.
As we said earlier, we narrowed down our field to 11 missions. We're going to try and take one of our attachments and maybe let it do more missions than it's doing right now. That way we'll earn more points and save less time.
We're also attempting to defeat the whale next.
So how did you guys do the relate about the conflicts and the disagreements you guys had? How did you overcome on that?
So we obviously as a team still had lots of conflicts, but we didn't argue about it. What we did was we calmly stated our points and we came to a resolve.
Adding on to our mission, we would find how many pros and how many cons our ideas would have. This really helped us see which idea is the best idea.
Also, adding on to that, one of our biggest conflicts was deciding on which side of the board to start. So we did many runs and we measured all the data to find out which side to start on.
One more question. What is the hardest thing that you had to do this year? Is it your programming? You got 11 missions, so you're getting a lot of points. They're going to compliment you on that. Trying to help you to, get to state. You feel it's your coding that's holding you back. You feel that you talked about the accuracy. We're talking about a lot of the point values and time. That's a very critical thing. Time is your enemy. You feel that you got to get better at coding. We've already talked about the attachments. How do your attachments and your coding work together? Yeah.
So I think the hardest thing was for our pit crew, and it's really hard to put the attachments on and off, but really our hardest thing was narrowing our missions down, because we had so many great missions that would earn us so many points. But we needed to narrow down the field because we didn't have enough time for every single mission. And we used our best senses, and we narrowed down our points to where we think is the best place for us.
So how many runs do you guys do?
We do 8 runs with 2 runs traveling across the board.
Anything else you want to tell us about your robot? 30 seconds to go.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
I think
Jake.
for
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Best of luck to you.